everyone, welcome back to my channel. So before we get started in today's video, I want to remind you that today is the first, or should I say tonight, because it's an awfully late video, but tonight is the first official launch of my 12 Days of Planmas, which is a giveaway for every day I do a video. So today we're going to be giving away the seasonal sticker book. In order to be eligible to win, you need to be a current subscriber, comment below with your favorite Christmas song, and of course give the video a big thumbs up. I am really working hard to reach my goal of 10,000 subscribers before the end of the year, so I'm hoping that this will help contribute to it. But of course, if you are new and you're not sure whether you want to subscribe or not, I hope you will. I hope this is a place you find joy and excitement and just a good time all around, just a fun time. But today we're going to be talking about something that probably for some newer planners and probably for some not so new, I was gonna say old planners, but I didn't mean it how that sounded, but to discuss how to Franken plan. So a lot of people may or may not know what Franken planning is, and it's kind of the process of customizing your planner, but I'm going to show you tips that I find to be helpful when Franken planning. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so I pulled some things. If you haven't seen this video, check it out. I launched it yesterday, but it is it's going to be part of my illustration for my, I'll link it on the screen, for my purpose here. So I'm going to take this brand new planner that really hasn't been touched, but putting this in here, and I'm going to pull it out. Sorry, bye-bye. I have not done really anything to it. It still has its original packaging on it. I've not done anything to it. So I'm going to talk about some tips as far as Franken planning is concerned. But just to give you some perspective before we get started of the thickness of things, this is your traditional 12-month thickness in with the rings. These are the classic size rings. These are not expander discs, and for 12 months. So this is the planner that as it came from the store. Now, although mine is in a, I'm going to pull it out for this. She's almost ready to be retired anyways. So this is how thick mine is. I do not have expander discs. I do not. But what I do have is 4 months I guess, of my actual planner in here, and the rest is other stuff. So if you're like me and you don't like, I do not like expander discs. I feel like they make everything clunky and way too big. By the by, if you're wondering how beautiful this planner cover is, you're right. It was from the Glam Girl line last year. I'm going to miss it. I may even switch it out because I'm still so in love with it, and I don't know if I'm ready to be willing to part with it yet. A year was not long enough with it. I'll see. I'm going to take a little break, but I probably will pull her right back out because I so love her. Anyways, so this is the size that you get to very quickly, and this is with planning by the quarter. So the first thing we're going to talk about is deciding what you're going to put in your planner. So pretending that these planners both were 12-month planners, and the thickness, obviously this one hasn't been touched and ruffled, and the more you pull things in and out, they do get a little bit bigger and expand. But I feel like when you have the expander discs on the planner, it makes it too big on the sides, and it just kind of makes it cumbersome and not really hard, not really easy to transport. So I have several sections. I have my goal section, of course sticky notes. I have my monthly plan with me section. I have some extra hourly breakdown sheets. I have a back in here, I have some extra paper, some goal tabs. I have some notes from coaching. I have some business ideas. So I have a lot of different things in here. So the first step in Franken planning is to look through your planner. Each planner is different, the way Happy Planner has made their planners. But the first step is to look through your planner. So let's go ahead and look through this one. Now, most of them are the same as far as the ability to do this, but every now and again you have a different one. So here's your yearlies overviews. Here's your start of your month. So this is January, and then January would start. So depending on how many months you want in your planner, this section right here is where you would actually break down your Franken Planning section. So let's pretend that to keep things simple for today, that you only want, now it depends on what you're Franken Planning also. If you're Franken Planning other pieces of a planner into one planner, this is also probably going to be the simplest way to do it, but it's going to depend on what your planner looked like, how you pull them out before you actually put it in this one. But let's pretend for the purpose of today that you're going to separate February out or March. So what we're going to do is, I'm not going to pull all these off at the moment, but let's just pretend that this is your point of, this is the start of the rest of your planner. I'm going to pull out a tab from mine, and I'm just going to show you what I would do. So if you're putting in like maybe your fitness planner for that portion, so I'm going to pull in just a month. I'm going to pull in the month of December. Okay, so here's where my December month is starting. I'm going to pull the tabs and the 4 weeks, and I'm going to show you how I would do it. Okay, so this is a month without anything else in it. It's a month, and because this is the last month, this is the last page of the month. But if you had the month before, this is what it would look like. It would look like the currently month, like this. So if you are pulling from a planner and kind of incorporating multiple planners into it, then that's what it would look like. So you're going to want to punch it right in the whole month if that's what you're doing, if you're incorporating a whole month into the Franken Planning. And then what I do is, depending on your needs and what you're Franken Planning in here, I would take a piece of paper, and I'm going to take, if I can find a blank one that doesn't have a bunch of my sloppy handwriting. Okay, we're going to use this one for the moment. Actually, wait a second. I have a better idea. What am I thinking? Okay, and I find that if you have, I made a couple extra of these when I last did it, so let's just flip around. I find that when you have colored paper, it actually works a little bit better because it's not as visual to see through. But what I would do is, if you are, you know, this obviously doesn't need to be covered up, but if you're trying to blend, maybe you're using an hourly January and a weekly January and just want to have, you know, maybe you're incorporating the dashboard theme into the slot theme and you don't want two currentlies. So what you want to do is, and you can do it several different ways. If you want a more permanent status, you would just pull from glue dots and glue down a piece of filler paper over top of it if you want it to be permanent, if you're not ever going to want to see that page again. If you want a temporary solution, I highly recommend these magnets and just kind of centering it right in and just leaving it in the center. It will flip just like a regular piece of paper, or even a paper clip would work for the same thing. They have some paper clips that they've made, but you will never see that divide. So as you're going through that month, that week, and you get done with that section, unless you pull it apart for some reason, when you're flipping it, it is just going to flip just like a normal page, and then you're not going to know what this is. Now what I recommend is, don't just have a blank piece of paper, make it a piece of paper that you have something functional to use. So if, for example, if you made one of these, the About Me, and you made it maybe on the back side, you could have the back side as being your divider, so it acts as an additional divider. The other option is, if you ever picked up a Happy Notes, or even if you didn't pick up a Happy Notes, which I will say, I think that Happy Notes are a good thing and a bad thing depending on what you need, but I've actually used them quite a bit. So, alright, the dividers in here are double-sided dividers, perfect for situations like this. So if you didn't want a sheet of something, but you wanted something that felt a little more thick and a little bit more sturdy, you would just do the same thing. You would just grab this and pin it, and it's a little thicker, so it looks a little bit more accurate and real. Like, and you know, another great thing to do is pull a month from an old month that you didn't, or maybe if you had a planner that you can flip them upside down or do whatever you want to do with them, but it could work for that too. So this is a little more thicker, kind of makes it feel a little bit more official, and then you have the perfect ability to flip in this new month without it feeling like it's interfering with, you know, two separate planners blending together. So now I'm going to pull this one out and talk about if you wanted to do it more permanent but not so permanent that you can never change your mind. What I would say is do a glue dot here, 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 and here, and one here, and it will probably glue fine and still allow you, if you wanted to pull it up without it interfering. But right now you have this perfect division of end of February, early, you know, to start of new month. So this currently page is the only page that you're really interfering with. Now, the other option to Franken Planning is there really is no reason this has to be February if you don't want it to be. You can just make it a piece of paper. It doesn't, especially with this planner. This one, where is it? So it's going to be planner specific, like depending on what kind of planner you have, it's going to be up to you to decide how to do it. And I'm going to be doing a video of Franken planning one of my planners. Where's the December one? Let's just go back to December. Very soon, probably in the next probably the next week or so actually, but excuse me, I don't even know where it is. Well, when I find it, let's see here. Oh, it's probably after November. Yeah. All right, so okay. So this one's a little bit different, but the same idea applies. So maybe you didn't actually like that this says December and you just want it to be neutral. You can just overlap this with some washi and you no longer have a dated period of time. And if you just want to use this as a checklist item, you know, just cover these up. This could be general. You could do the same thing all year long, but it's still the best point in your planner to make those separations and to actually go ahead and start the Franken planning process. So the other tips I have, that's actually how to find your separation point more or less in this particular one. But the other tips that I have is having a clear, so I'm going to pull out my planner. Now, I have multiple planners, but this is the planner that I spend most of my time in. This is also my work planner, but all that's in here is my schedule, some accessories that I use to help me through my day, and some areas that are dedicated to things within my business. So for example, let's go back here. This is some of my coaching notes. So as I do coaching, I have little notes of things I'm going to do and incorporate in my business. And so I have just some stuff back here that I've, over the course of time, actually these are more like business ideas. Yeah, that's a more business idea section. This area right here is my coaching notes section. So do I need all these sections? Do I not need all the sections? Obviously, you're going to have to decide for you how many sections you want to plan in. But I would say, as a rule, for every section you have, take out 2 months. So if you have 4 other sections, then you're going to want to take out 8 months in your planner. So for me, you know, I have these dividers that I'm using to separate the word, you know, what they are. And I have little tips at the top to help me to kind of understand what I have. But for you, you may or may not need as many in there, and you might want more months of your planner. I find that every extra thing you put in your planner does take about 2 months out. So if you have, like, this is my goal section. This was my 2000 and whatever day it was, goal section, 2018 goal section. Look, you can see the 10,000 subscriber sub right here. Boop, boop. And this will be coming out as I put in a new one, but it will, it was my goal section, and so it had, you know, I wanted it up front, very visual, but by the time it was all said and done, I needed to pull 2 months from it out. And especially if you have accessories and sticky notes and everything and you don't want it too thick, then that is kind of your best bet to decide how many months you need to pull out of your planner and where you want things. The other thing is, like, I have January in here wide open from when I did January last year, but if you want a Franken plan, I always recommend having a name up front in case you ever do lose your planner. Probably no one's going to shuffle through it to find your name or to do that, but if you do want your name in the front just in case, then I think it's a good idea to do it. And obviously your name is not going to dictate how to get a hold of you, but it is going to make it easier if you lose it to call and be like, hey, do you have a planner? The name in the planner is this. And someone's going to say, yeah, I do. And no, I don't know what you're talking about, crazy lady. But you will know right off the bat what the deal is with that. So as we get down to, where do I want to go? Right here, people. Yeah. If you don't want things up front, and you need to, the way that I also recommend deciding how to Franken plan is to decide what's important for you to see first. So I always wanted my goals very upfront and visual, but I also like having the dividers where I need them. So I take the dashboards and I put them exactly where I need them because I find that it's easier for me to flip from the front than flip from the side. So I like to be able to see the colors and flip it. So I try to have different colored and marked tabs to make sure that I'm you know, looking at the right space. But if you don't have that ability, then I would say just go ahead and pick whatever, you know, dividers that you have to make sure you have them. But so step number 1, let's make it easy. Step number 1, figure out what you want to put in your planner and how you want to customize it. And if you want to put in a fitness planning section, take out 2 months. If you want to put in a section for hourly, take out 2 months. If you want to put in a business goals section and business tip section, take out 2 months. So you're left then with 6 months and those other categories. And as you start building, you're going to see how thick it is. The key is to have another place to put those where they're safe and sound and secure. And if you do not have a very good, like if you don't have an old planner with discs that you can use to dedicate to that, maybe you bought an extension pack and they don't obviously come with planner discs or covers, get a Ziploc bag and put them in there because that's going to be your best bet to keep them at least secure from liquids, and then try to keep them in a flat drawer or somewhere where you're not going to, you know, misplace or ruin them. And so that will be able to get you started. I'm going to be doing a Franken planning very soon, as soon as I complete my planner lineup, to show you how to do it a little more in depth, or how I'm going to do it, kind of more of a planner setup video, but that will take the place of this one. Since this one's on the last month, I'm probably going to start changing everything over, moving all the original guts back into this one, and keeping it for reference, and just using the last month in here by itself. So everything's going to start shifting over into January's. So I hope that makes sense. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a little bit about Franken planning. I hope I didn't confuse you too much, because I confuse myself sometimes, so that does happen. But make sure to subscribe, and don't forget to tell your friends about Planner Christmas 12-day giveaway, or Planmas as I like to call it. It is the perfect time to get stuff that you don't have to buy, and that is fun because I like free stuff all the time. So I hope you do too. Thank you for watching. I can't wait to see you next time.